Yo, what is up guys? A while ago, I painstakingly attempted to strip some wheels using paint stripper and then paint them myself. The painting went great, the stripping not so great. It was agonizing, and after doing those two, I decided I was not gonna do the same with these two wheels. So what I did was, I was planning to take them to get professionally sandblasted, and then I bought that thing over there and decided I was gonna save my money for that, and I'd just sand back the shitty paint that was on it right now and spray it. So I sanded it back, I sprayed some primer on, I did a horrible job to the point where I actually had to get them sandblasted because I didn't want to strip that primer back. So $80 later, I've got two freshly stripped sandblasted wheels, and this is what they look like. Now, initially I was taken aback by the fact that they're not shiny, polished metal, which is what the other two looked like when I used paint stripper. But it actually makes sense because these have been blasted with blast media, which, you know, scratches and pits the surface so that that polished look is completely gone. But this is the bare metal underneath, and I did not expect it to look like this. But the point is, it's stripped. It cost me $80, $40 per wheel, and to be honest, I'm not too impressed with the result. So I'm sure this is more company specific as opposed to something that happens with sandblasting, but they did a pretty shoddy job, especially in some areas. But they've even like left some of the factory paint on in between the spokes in some places, and you know, little places like this that may be hard to reach, but you can still clearly see that's that original factory white with the primer underneath. Little things like this, and there's still primer over here, as you can see. It blends in nicely to the metal, but that's primer, not metal. So going into this, I had no idea what to expect really. I've never seen sandblasted wheels before, and I didn't research it too much. I just kind of assumed that it'd be pretty simple to strip, especially because the wheels are on, and you know, they only had to really do the face and the spokes. So it's pretty shoddy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rubber back with some 180 grit. That way we can get, you know, smooth the surface up and get rid of some of the residue that may still be remaining, the blast media and the dust. I already did pressure wash these, so most of that's gone. Alright, so I didn't record it, but the wheels are now primed. I used the same etch primer and priming process I used in my previous wheel painting video, so go look at that if you want a detailed explanation on what I did. So the primer came out okay. I could have gone a bit thicker on the final coat, but yeah, at this point in time, I just want to get them done because I don't have any time left, and I've still got to do the base coat and the clear coat. So the people who sandblasted my wheels, I don't really think they did a great job at all. It saved me a lot of time, yes, but they also missed a few spots here and there, and the thing is, it's quite evident, like you can see there, this stuff, it's stuff like that, kind of all around in certain places. It's stuff that I would have needed to go back over and clean up myself, and the whole reason I paid money and got these professionally sandblasted was so that I wouldn't have to do that. If anything, the job I did, albeit like took weeks longer, was better than this. So yeah, that sucks, but I just, like I said, don't have the time to properly do this. So we're gonna soldier on. Let's hit it with that silver base coat I got for the last time I painted my wheels. Now for the moment of truth. Which one is better? Sandblasting your wheels or paint stripping them? Now, this is the paint stripped wheel. Pretty difficult to see in this light. I wish I'd compared these wheels before I put them onto the car. But this has been through, you know, a track day and months of disregard, which is why it's a bit dirty. But you can really tell that finish is like, it's still silky smooth. The clear coat went on really nice because the surface was smooth, and that is something that paint stripping gave me. And here we have the shiny, sparkly, freshly painted sandblasted wheels. Now, as you can see, it is I'm really hoping the camera can pick this up, but it's just rougher. Like, you can see in the finish, it's nowhere near as smooth or as pretty as the paint strip wheels. And that's entirely because the sandblasted surface really needs to be prepped and polished so that you get a much smoother finish on the wheel itself. And as I've mentioned a few times now, I didn't have the time for that. I was kind of hoping the sandblasting would take out the time and the effort that I put into paint stripping the wheels. So I didn't want to go spend hours cleaning this mess up. So in the end, it's a pair of wheels, so it's okay, and it still looks really good, I'd say. Despite the fact that it's a bit rougher looking than the other wheel, you've still got a really nice shine, and the silver color looks good. I don't know if you guys managed to see it properly on camera. You probably couldn't, but the crux of it is the sandblasted wheels came out a little rougher because the surface had pitting and marks and little dips in it that need to be basically sanded back and prepped all over again. So the sandblasting was great for getting the paint off because there were quite a few layers of crap paint on it, but it still required hours of prep work, which I just didn't want to invest. The reason I went through the sandblasting route for these final two wheels was because I spent hours using paint stripper on the first two, and it was agonizing. I didn't want to do that again. And if I had invested many more hours into prepping those sandblasted wheels, it would have defeated the purpose of me paying someone to professionally strip them. So, my verdict. Ultimately, if you want a beautiful, smooth, glossy, mirror-like finish, you can either paint strip them yourselves, which will take hours and a lot of hard work, or you can get them sandblasted and still spend hours sanding them back to that fine, smooth, polished metal, which you need in order to get a really nice, smooth layer of paint and clear coat on. So for the purposes of this final verdict, I'd say the best course of action, despite what I thought would happen, was actually to do it myself with paint stripper. And if you'd asked me this a few months ago, before I'd done the sandblasting, I would have been like, there is no way I'd choose the paint stripping over the sandblasting route. Surely a professionally sandblasted wheel would be a lot easier to paint, but that just was not the case. So there you go, that was a surprise. Ultimately though, the next time if I ever had to do this again, I'd still get them sandblasted because I saved hours, I saved a lot of time, and that was, that was actually pretty important in the end. And you can't tell the difference once you're a meter or two away from the wheels. And yeah, they're wheels, it's not the body of the car. They're gonna get rough anyway, so at the end of the day, although the paint stripping did yield better results, it required more effort, and the sandblasting came out decent. From afar you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, and I saved a lot of time. That being said, I would not use the company I used because they just did a shocking job, as you saw throughout this video. There you have it. So some surprising results in the end. I hope you guys learned something like I did throughout this process. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.